Sorry, the Deputy has 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Minister, this is a living disgrace. 2 years after a €12 million facility was completed, and this was a facility which was to provide community nursing home beds in one of the most disadvantaged area, but also an area kind of where there is an ageing population. The fact that that sits empty, closed, for the purpose that it was intended to, with state-of-the-art facilities. It was built in an area as part of an overall plan to regenerate St Michael's Estate, but also was built next to the primary health care unit, which is going well and is a credit to those who had that vision. But at the time, this facility was part of an overall plan to provide public nursing home care, not only in St Michael's Estate in this 50-bed unit, but also in Brú Caoimhghín, where there was not only the existing beds, but also additional beds was to be built, and also the Meath Hospital. There was an overall plan that all of these beds would be surrounding James's Hospital, one of the busiest hospitals in the country, and that they would facilitate the release of patients who are required aftercare or convalescent, rather than being stuck in acute beds, in many ways blocking the transfer of patients from the A&E and elsewhere. The newspaper have called them bed blockers, but I don't believe they're bed blockers, but these are people who need a different level of care. The facilities I'm talking about are within a mile of St James's Hospital, and it is illogical, economically and every other way, that you have a facility of this size sitting there in an area that is crying out for it. I have visited many patients in the last year in James's Hospital and in Tala Hospital, and many of them are in need of transfer out of that hospital to a nursing home. But what we have is a system which is putting them into private healthcare. This is the privatisation agenda which is carried on from the last government to this government, and I appeal to you, Minister, to announce today that these beds will be open, that you will then see a transfer from a public hospital to a public community healthcare facility. It beggars belief why such a building is there. If anybody who visits this place, it's a beautiful building. It is set on the old school grounds of St Michael's School, as I said, next to the primary health care, in an area which at some stage or other this government or a future government will have huge scope to regenerate an area that has suffered the trials and tribulations of being disadvantaged, being ignored for many, many years. As I said, the financial logic is this would allow beds to be freed up in James's Hospital, where then they become more effective, more efficient in the use of their hospital space, and you wouldn't see a health minister cutting James's Hospital 9 million in that instance, because they would be proven that they're well capable. So, Minister, we carried out a petition in the area, just asking the local people who had raised this issue with us on quite a number of occasions over the last 2 years, what is happening to it, what isn't. And I will be presenting the Minister with a petition tomorrow of over 600 signatures, and that was just in the near vicinity. We didn't go beyond that, and we just asked them what was their demand in relation to this facility, and their demand: open it now, don't leave it sitting there. It's a living disgrace.
Thank you. The Minister has 4 minutes to reply.
Thank you very much, Cathaoirleach. Could I just, in the first instance, thank the Deputy for raising the issue, but apart from it being in my own area of responsibility, I know a little bit about this particular community nursing home in Inchicore, because Deputy Catherine Byrne is continuously raising it, and I think that there is concern in the area as to how a state-of-the-art building, which did cost 10 million, not 12, 10 million, which is a substantial figure, 10 or 12, it's an enormous amount of money, hard gathered by the state. But I would like to thank the Deputy for raising this issue. The Government is committed to ensuring that patients receive the highest standard of care in the appropriate setting. be they acute, community or residential. As the Deputy is aware, there are challenging times for the Health Service Executive in respect of all services. In the case of community nursing units, these include challenges regarding staffing, funding, the age and structure of its units. In this regard, all developments have to be addressed in the light of the current economic and budgetary pressures, and any decision taken by the HSE must have regard to this and the current recruitment moratorium, which I think is significant when we speak about this particular unit. The 50-bed community nursing unit at the former St Michael's Estate in Inchicore was planned as one of the network of units across the Dublin Mid-Leinster region to address the projected demand for long-term care provision into the future. The public sector moratorium has severely limited the Health Service Executive's ability to commission new staff-intensive service, and this has delayed the commissioning and opening of the Inchicore facility. During 2012, the HSE proposed to move staff and patients from St Bridget's Hospital, Crooksling, to Inchicore, thereby allowing for the closure of the older unit at St Bridget's Hospital. However, having regard to the wishes of the patients at St Bridget's Hospital and the need to maximise the level of service provision in the region, it was decided to maintain services at Crooksling and to explore alternative proposals for the Inchicore unit. And I'm sure that the Deputy was involved in that as well. In the light of the public sector moratorium and a significant additional reduction in staff numbers required over the next 2 years, one option being pursued is that of a public-private partnership agreement. The HSE has successfully used this model to open a 100-bed unit for older persons at Ballincollig in County Cork. This unit delivers real cost benefits and value to the system, which would not be possible through direct employment, and it does in fact deal creatively as well in relation to the moratorium. The current position is that a project team has been appointed within the HSE to progress this project, including representatives from general management, human resources, finance and procurement. A detailed draft specification has been prepared in relation to the service requirement for the Inchicore unit to be used in the tendering process with the preferred provider panel. In addition, a detailed briefing note and associated documentation is currently being finalised in preparation for an engagement with the relevant trade unions in line with the requirements under the public sector agreement. The engagement with the unions, which must be completed before proceeding to tender stage, will commence shortly. Once the tender process commences, the HSE anticipates that a tender should be awarded within 3 months. The Inchicore building has been used by the HSE services until recently, and these services have been relocated in preparation for its opening as a community nursing home. I know that the Deputy will welcome this. Thank you.
Minister. The Deputy has 2 minutes to make.
Minister, I don't know who gave you the figures in relation to the cost of it. The costs associated with the nursing home were construction costs of 8.6 million, site costs 1.8 million, site development costs 1.4 million, and the equipment was 0.6 million. That's 12.4 million. And that's not whatever cost came after that in the 2 years that it's been sitting idle. Minister, this was not originally meant as a replacement for St Bridget's. It wasn't meant as a replacement of 50 beds that is in Brú Caoimhghín. This was an additional 50 beds into the system, and now it looks like it's going to be 50 extra beds into the private system, because you're suggesting that it be run under public-private partnership. Would it not be more logical, Minister, that you would grant it to James's Hospital if the HSE doesn't want to have anything to do with it anymore, and allow James's Hospital, which is a public hospital, to run it to service its needs? St James's Hospital in October last year, which the figures I have, had over 60 patients awaiting discharge, awaiting placement in long-term care bed at that stage, and I don't think the situation has got much better since. They would obviously take up the 50 beds that's in this unit a mile down the road, which means that if there was any issues with the patients, they could be very quickly transferred back into St James's. There was also over 20 patients in Tallaght Hospital awaiting the exact same placement in long-term care bed. This is, and all of that long-term care bed is being facilitated in the private sector, and this is the privatisation of our health service. So I'd appeal to you as a minister, but also in particular as a minister from the Labour Party, to oppose any privatisation, whether through public-private partnership or in the way of subsidising the private nursing homes in the way that has been done, and to open this facility as a public run and a public available to the public members. It is illogical for it to sit there. I welcome the fact that you are looking at action, but the action is that it be run not as a public facility, but as a private facility paid for by the public.
Look, and just because I remember the last time I was answering this question for Deputy Catherine Byrne, the issue in relation to having St James's take it over as a sort of a step-down procedure. I think, in fact, and I'm open to correction on this, but my recollection is that their licence in relation to how they operate the hospital actually doesn't allow them to operate a facility off-site, off-campus. Now,
one landing off beds.
Deputy to respond, please, or the Minister to respond.
No, well, I am actually fully informed, but anyway.
Deputy, you have the Minister without an interruption, please. You had your opportunity.
Because we did investigate that issue. Could I just say to you that this is not going to be a private a community nursing unit. This will be in the same way as the unit in Ballincollig in Cork, and Deputy McLennan behind you will know that that operates very well, and it's people from the public list are in fact availing of it. It is run on behalf of the state, and it is run very effectively. And to be honest about it, if we could see this unit opened of benefit to the community and people who are in acute hospitals who clearly don't want to be there but don't have an option, then I think that would be a good day's work, and I would encourage the HSE to get on and do the job and make sure that there is space available for people who could benefit from this type of unit. Thank you.